Sir, we are audible.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Priyanshu Sana of BBA fourth semester, and today I'll be welcoming you all to this webinar. Obstacles are the raw material of great accomplishment. Alice Walton once said, "One of the great responsibility that I have is to manage my assets wisely so that they create value in future." Now, I would like to invite Ms. Sonal Pandey of MBA second semester to proceed further with the program. Sonal, over to you.
Thank you, Priyanshu. Good afternoon, everyone. Here I am Sonal Pandey, MBA second semester. This afternoon, I am welcoming you all to this webinar. I am highly honored to take this opportunity on the behalf of Sarla Billa University to extend warm and welcome to one and all present. On behalf of Sarla Billa University, I would like to welcome the moderating CEO, Dr. Pradeep Sir, Honorable
आवाज नहीं आ रही है हेलो आवाज नहीं आ रही है नॉट ऑडिबल टू
I think if all others mute, then only sounds will come because somebody's mobile was giving a sound. Anyway, please go ahead.
हेलो ऑडिबल टू एवरीवन प्रियांशु
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, she is audible.
आवाज आ रही है इसकी
Yes, sir, आ रही है.
ओके स्टार्ट
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
ओके स्टार्ट सुनल
Hello.
सुनल स्टार्ट करो
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Honorable CEO Dr. Pradeep Verma, sir. Honorable Registrar of University Professor Vijay Kumar Singh, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Gopal Pathak, sir. Dean ID NCS Professor Sanjeev Bajaj, sir. Dean Engineering Professor Sridhar Vinandin, sir. Honorable Dr. Sandeep Kumar, sir. Dean Student Welfare Professor Ashok Asthana, sir. Program Coordinator Dr. Pooja Mishra, ma'am, and Professor Midani Jha, sir. All members of organizing committee, teachers, and my dear friends, I would like to introduce and welcome today's chief guest, Mr. Vijay Kumar Mathur, sir, for today's webinar on significance of material management in industries. Now, I'm honored to introduce Mr. Vijay Kumar Mathur, sir. He is an MSc Statistics Gold Medalist from Patna University with APP and CPM from Institute of Supply and Management from USA. Now, he is performing as Senior Vice President ESCM at Global E-Auction and E-Procurement Limited. He is officiated as Executive Director, Material Management Cell at Rourkela Steel Plant with multiple responsibilities. Vijay Kumar sir has initiated 36 years of career in Steel Authority of India Limited with last 12 years as Functional Head Material Management and Marketing. He is an effective communicator with adequate relationship management skills and ability to retain people at any level of business. His noteworthy contribution on website development promoted supply chain management and material management. Now, I would like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Vijay Kumar sir, to convey his expertise and expertise on the subject matter. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sonal, and a very good afternoon to all, especially to my young friends of MBA, BBA, and commerce streams. Let me first thank the management of Sarla Birla University to have given me an opportunity of interacting with these students. My special thanks to Dr. Sandeep and Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj. I have worked with Steel Authority from May 1983. Am I audible? Is it very clear, Dr. Sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I worked at the Steel Authority from March 1983 to October 2018. Around 35 and a half years, say 36 years. And all in the materials management department only. This shows the vastness of this field called materials management. And here for you, MM is a part of your syllabus, probably contained in production management. if I am right. So today we will discuss little at length, if the time permits, on what materials management is and how significant role does it play in the life of an industry. So shall we start? We will start through a presentation on this topic. So let me start. Somebody should make me share. Can you share it? Can I share this slide?
Yes, sir, you can share the slide.
Screen share. Just let me see. It is window. Okay. Is it now coming?
Yes.
I think it is better if we, okay, right? So if it is okay, then I'm starting. Am I right? So this is the significance of materials management industries. I think before we start it, let's have a ground rule. First ground rule is that I hope you will be asking any question towards the end of my presentation, at the end. Or do you want do you ask any question in between? It is up to you. But I'll prefer if you ask the question at the end. But anyway, if somebody really wants to ask any question in between, he is free. And second, please mute yourself. Third, one person will ask question at a time. I mean, what happens in a typical webinar, so many people start asking questions at the same time, so I'm not able to hear anybody. So kindly forgive me for saying all these things, and let's now start. Significance of materials management industries. Let's first start with the resource needs of an industry. You might have read by now that any industry has got these 5 resources, 5 needs, very commonly called as 5 M's: men, machines, materials, money, and management. Obviously, the most important are.
Sir, kindly change the slide.
क्या हो गया? क्या? Hello?
Change the slide.
Change in the sense?
First slide is showing.
Second is not coming. I'm sharing it. Is there any change? Okay.
Move to second slide, sir.
It is coming now?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
okay.
Go to next. It is coming. Introduction. Is it changing or not?
Not. Right now. Okay.
No, but this will change only if I toggle down or toggle up. I'm sharing it.
Okay.
And because on my computer it is changing.
Okay, sir. Perfect.
So now 5 M's of resource: men, machines, materials, money, and management. We all know all these things are there. But machines or money or management, no production can take place without machines. No, nothing can happen without money. Nothing moves without money. And overall, a management has to be there to take care of all these things. So what is variable and controllable for us are 2 M's, men and machine. So all these 5 can be consolidated into only 2 M's, that is men and materials. And today we are going to discuss materials at length. Men we know. Next slide. Is it coming now, Dr. Sir?
Just move to the sir. Next slide.
Next is introduction. Is it not coming?
No. Just slightly move slide.
Sir, it takes a couple of seconds sometimes.
I am into third slide. Is it coming?
No, sir.
Then what has happened? I am sharing and I am going into the second, I am going into this third.
Yes, right now. You have to move to the cursors on the third slide. Okay, then it will be visible to everyone. Okay, sir.
Is it okay?
Okay.
Instead of going for slideshow, I'll go for this show if it is okay. And I think this should be okay because it's available to everybody on his computer screen.
Yeah.
So I'll go for this way only. So just to introduce the subject, introduce materials management, there are 3 quotes. I have to read it out. If you have a vision for running the best production operation possible, then mastering materials management will be a big part of what gets you there. These are the statements which are coming from the wisdom of some of the experts of the industry. Based on my experience also, experience of nearly 36 years, I am very much inclined to accept this kind of a statement. Second, materials management is the cause of or cure to many critical production issues. Yes, I have experienced it for 35 years. And third, in many ways, it acts as the backbone of the production or manufacturing process. Let us not have 2 opinions on this. I am telling you, not from deriving from any book or internet or Google search. This is what I have felt in my long 35 years of long career. So these 3 statements, the punchlines should be there and should be in your mind while we discuss subsequent slides. The outline of presentation would be like this. We will spend some time on what is materials management. I presume that in your production management paper, you have studied or you will be studying materials management also. It is always better to understand what is materials management, what are its objectives and functions and organizations, and then all important, what is the significance of materials management. So we'll spend some time on this. Let's go by the definition of materials management. I will read it out. I will rather read only the important part of it because I presume that you are all reading it. You just see, materials management basically a function. It's an approach for planning, organizing, and controlling. When you study management in general, then you see or might have seen that planning, organizing, controlling are very, very important aspects of management in general, management per se. You have to have all these things. This is all about management. You have to plan, you have to organize, you have to control whatever you want to do. So materials management is also not an exception. You have to plan, organize, and control. But the most important thing starts from here. This flow of materials from their initial purchase to destination. Materials management basically controls the flow of materials from various locations where we have placed the order to get the material. We in fact coordinate that. We plan, we organize, we control, we coordinate those things. And those things, when they come to the destination is basically our organization, the manufacturing, that company, that plant, and from where it goes up to the production, directly to the production. So this is all about materials management, one way of looking at it. Second, defines a bit of its scope. The scope varies greatly. One thing I must tell over here is that there are different kind of industries and different kind of, say, companies, different kind of manufacturing units, thousands and thousands of. But if you categorize them into big, medium size and small size, then the definition, then the scope of materials management changes a bit. For example, it may include material planning and control, production planning, purchasing, storing, inventory control, in-plant materials movement, and waste management. All these are the functions or the scope of materials management. But from my experience, let me tell you that in big industries, I am from the Steel Authority. There are 5 plants. All the plants are big enough. So in big plants, you say all these activities are not within the scope of materials management, because material planning, this in itself happens to be a huge task. And this is not done by materials management here. This is done by different production shop floors. They know better what material they need, when they need, how much they need. So material planning in big industries, in big factories, is not done by materials management. Similarly, waste management, treatment, or waste management disposal is not the job of materials management. Yes, if you ask me to dispose it off, we will dispose it off through our system and procedure, but this has to be decided by a different department. So having said so, let me say the organization is big or small or medium. These 3 or 4 activities, purchasing, storing, inventory control, and in-plant materials movement, these are common to all the plants, all the manufacturing units, big or small. These are materials management activities, prime activities, which every materials management department does everywhere. So this was the definition and scope. Now, there has to be a comparison with the buzzword of today, that is called supply chain management. Day in, day out, everywhere, you might be hearing this word supply chain management. Yes, many people think that supply chain management and materials management are same. Many people think. I also say that both belong to the same family, but they differ in extent and span. Basically happens to be a subdomain of supply chain management. Just, I will read it out. See the definition of supply chain management and try to understand. Supply chain management spans all movement and storage of raw materials, work in process inventory, and finished goods from point of origin to point of consumption. The most important thing is point of origin to point of consumption. Means when we do supply chain management, we start our activities from, say, planning of material, getting it from the suppliers, getting it into our organization, giving it to production. Then production will do its own job. It will convert those raw materials into finished product. And then finished product also will have certain stages like work in process inventory and then finished goods. And then finally, this finished good is transported out of the organization and goes to the customers. So the whole gamut of activities will come under supply chain management. Whereas materials management, which is a part of it, starts with planning and getting the material to the shop floor and ending there itself. I won't call it half of supply chain management or 1/4 of supply chain management or whatever. I will only say that in the same continuum, in the same length, materials management stops at some point. It's a core function of supply chain management involving the planning and execution of supply chains to meet the material requirement of the company. Once I have got the material and handed it over to production department, my job ends. Materials management job ends. So materials management is definitely a subdomain of supply chain management, but it is not supply chain management. The two differ only in the extent and span. Okay. So this difference or this differentiation was essential because many people use these two terms interchangeably. These are not to be used interchangeably. These are different. Let's go to the next slide. Next is, let's have a few minutes on what is materials management. What material? What we are talking about materials? What is it? What is it? What is a material? A typical manufacturing company, and please mind my word over here. When I say manufacturing company, you interchangeably use it for production company or production. Manufacturing and production are the same thing in our language. Somebody will call it manufacturing, somebody will call it production. Both are same for us in the industry. So in a typical manufacturing company, the following categories of materials are used. This is the categorization of materials. One is raw material. What is raw material? The raw material is one which gets converted into finished goods after processing by the production. You use it and then it becomes a different material, different finished goods. For example, while making steel, we get raw materials like iron ore, manganese, dolomite, and so many other things. These are all different materials. But when they are combined together and processed in our blast furnace, then what comes out of it is called iron. It becomes iron. And when this iron and some oxygen is lashed upon iron, it becomes steel. So raw materials are those materials which, when processed, change their form and become a new material, finished goods or finished product. So that is called raw material. Another is spares. Spares are those replaceable parts of machines which are used in production directly or indirectly. See, machines are some direct machines which are used only for producing, only for converting raw material into finished goods. But there are thousands of other machines which are auxiliary to these machines. So spare parts are those replaceable parts which are used in any machine, but they don't become a different item after say converting. They don't get converted. The spares are spares, but they are used for running the machines. They are replaceable parts. Third is consumables. These consumables also are not the materials which get converted into finished products, but these consumables, they run the machines. They help production machines run, like lubricants, oil, diesel, petrol. You run the machines through them, but they don't become part of the finished product. So the entire category of items are, entire materials are categorized into these raw, spares, and consumables. Now, when materials transform during processing and turn into finished goods, they are called direct materials. This is from finance. It is for finance people to calculate according to what are the direct materials and what are indirect materials. But for us also, it is better to know it. The materials which are transformed and get converted into finished products, they are called direct materials. For example, raw materials are direct materials. But the materials which are used for production, but they are not becoming part of the finished good, are called indirect materials. Your spares, your consumables, they are indirect materials. So the categorization is on what happens to a material, or anything happens to a material or does not happen to a material. That says whether it's a raw material, spares, or consumable. And financially, those materials are direct and indirect materials. I think this should be very clear by now. This was necessary because we will discuss only materials management. So these are the materials. Let's see what are the objectives of materials management. Obviously, to ensure uninterrupted supply to production. In the back, you will see this is called 5 rights. It needs a little bit of discussion, but I'll cut short for some reasons. See, we are discussing basically the significance of in industry. This is the biggest significance without going into any mathematics about the role of materials management. We have to ensure uninterrupted supply to production. My dear friends, I worked in Rourkela Steel Plant for 2 years as executive director. My usual timing in the plant was that I used to go at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I used to be in my seat, and I used to leave my seat not before 10 p.m. every day. I don't remember having left my room before 10 p.m. on any day, because as head of the materials management function, my job was only this. Apart from many other jobs, this was the biggest job, the most critical, the most necessary job, that I had to ensure uninterrupted supply of materials to production. And mind it, believe me, that I used to buy, my department used to buy more than 5,000 items per year. More than 5,000 different items per year. So you can imagine that a person heading that department has been given the responsibility of meeting the production target of materials 5,000 items in a year. Even after coming back from the office at 10 or 10:30 in the night, I had sleepless nights. If the material doesn't come tomorrow by say 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, then what will happen to the plant? The plant is an integrated steel plant. If one shop stops, then the entire plant gets stopped. Nothing will happen. Huge loss would be there. And the entire responsibility is upon the materials management man, materials management function, materials management department. So what more do you need to understand the significance of materials management in industry? This is the biggest role, biggest critical thing that a materials manager or a materials management department has to ensure, that to ensure uninterrupted supply to production. Let me, before going through this slide, let me show you these 5 rights I am telling here. 5 rights. What are these 5 rights? These are basically 5 rights of purchasing, but 5 rights of materials management. The 5 rights is we have to get the materials of right quality, in right quantity, at right time, at the right cost, from the right source. These are the 5 rights which are our primary objectives. Right quality should be there, right quantity should be there, right time should be there. Time is most important at times, and the right cost is there, and from the right source. So to ensure uninterrupted supply to production, meeting those 5 rights conditions. And these 5 right conditions are described here. You have to select the right quality of material. You know, the significance of materials management lies here, that if we get the right quality of material, then only you can expect a right quality of product, finished product. And if you have got the bad quality of finished product, you can understand in the market either it will not be sold or it will fetch you very low price. So everything depends upon the quality of input material. The better the material, better the quality, the better would be the quality of your finished product. And this has to be ensured by materials management. You can understand the kind of responsibility that we have on our head. You have to purchase at optimum price. Okay, right price or optimum price are same. Optimum is the word used in management. We don't say maximum or minimum. The optimum is the best price under the circumstances, or rather the best price under the circumstances is called optimum price. Sometimes the price may be very, very high, but under the circumstances, that price itself is best price. For example, if you can say, if there is only one supplier of a particular item and he enhances the price and you have to buy only from him, then obviously the price will increase, but that would be the optimum price because there is no other source. Selection of sound suppliers is because of price. We have to find out sound suppliers who have got good technical and financial capabilities so that they are able to give us the right quality of material at the right price and at the right time, which is the most important thing at times. Limiting the wastage, not very much in our hand, but still it is one of our objectives. Demand forecasting is very important. One has to be very correct in forecasting the demand. Within 6 months, how much of material is required. Within 1 year, how much of material is required. And within 1 year, 2 years, how much of material will be required. So a span of forecasting has to be there, and we have to be very accurate on that. Thankfully, with computerization, with ERP, with so many things now coming in our way, these are becoming more and more accurate by the day. Cost control of material, we will discuss a little later, is most important thing. And then efficiency in handling material. Obviously, when the material comes to the plant or comes, even if it is outside the plant, let's say it's with the supplier, then we engage our transporter to bring the material. We have an all India transportation contract and the material comes to our transporter only. So efficiency in handling of material has to have. Then we have to have an effective physical distribution network. When the materials comes to stores, then we have to distribute it to so many production units, so many shop floors. And therefore we have to have good trucks, trolleys, forklifts, and so many other material handling equipment with expert of material handling people and efficiency of time. So these are the objectives of materials management. Let's go to very briefly on functions of materials management. After seeing the objective, the function does not need to be described at length. Material planning requirement we have to do, purchasing we have to do, warehousing or stores keeper we have to do, material handling has to be done, transportation inward and outward has to be done. Then ascertaining and maintaining the flow and supply of materials. This is, I am saying again from my experience, this is the most critical activity which we have shown here to ensure uninterrupted supply to production. So material requirement planning, inventory control, one of the vital functions of materials management, and then finally disposal of surplus, obsolete and non-moving materials. In course of buying and using in production, so many items become surplus or technologically obsolete, or they don't move at all in the last 5 or 6 years. So we have to dispose of them off. If there is a buyer outside, we have to sell it. That's all. So these are the functions of materials management. And just to carry out these functions, we have to have a setup of materials management. We have to have an organization. I'm running a bit fast only because we have to keep in view the time also. It's a very vast subject. I'm just trying to describe materials management, and then we'll immediately now come to next slide will come as for significance. Now, obviously, we'll have to have an organization. Material planning department has to be there, purchasing department has to be there, receiving and inspection department has to be there. This inspection is a very vital function because when the material is received in plant, then we have to compare it with our ordered specification. What we had ordered for and what we have received, the two have to tally. And then only it goes to our stores. And from stores, it goes to issue departments, to the shop floor, to the production units. Then in between, we have got inventory control. When it comes to the stores, then it becomes part of the inventory, which we have to control. And finally, the logistics department or logistics section, which as we described, was transportation within and outside. So these are the departments or sections within the materials management under the umbrella of materials management. And these are all independent units. These are related units also. One is connected to the other. And these departments and sections, they combine together, give you what is called materials management, and they organize everything in a plant. Let's say, come to the right, the topic of the day, significance of materials management. These have been discussed in the previous slides, so not time to be taken on this. This is the cutting edge of business today, materials management. A company making a loss and a company making a profit, there are hundreds of differences between these two companies, but one of the major differences will be how efficient is their materials management. In fact, supply chain management today is the cutting edge of the business everywhere in the world. The better the supply chain management of your company, the more are the chances that you will make profit and you will stay in the competition. And since materials management is a subdomain of supply chain management, so your materials management has to be very, very efficient and effective. So this is the cutting edge of business today. This is an integral part of production management. Various functions involving a number of departments come within the purview of materials management. These are the significance of materials management. Why materials management is so important. And now come to the rupees, cost and expenditure. Material cost constitutes nearly 40 to 60% of total production cost. What more can one say to justify the significance of materials management in industry? If one function alone controls nearly 40 to 60% of total production cost, then this cannot be taken lightly. This is the most serious function. You see, only saving the cost of inventories may provide saving of nearly 20% of the total production cost. This is a thumb rule. This is a thumb rule for any major manufacturing unit, that the better your inventory control, the lower would be the production cost. This 20% may vary, maybe 5%, maybe 10%, maybe 20, maybe 25 also. But the thumb rule is this: you control your inventory and your production cost will come down. So about the cost, I will show a slide. Rather, for your benefit, I have put few lines over here just to show the significance of MM. So I have distributed in some dimensions, some different dimensions. The dimensions are cost and expenditure. Then I'll show you MM as a profit center. Then MM as lifeline of manufacturing system, inventory's role in manufacturing activities, partnership with strategic suppliers. MM owns its own robust procedures and system. I mean, all these dimensions, if we go into details of it, are big dimensions themselves. And these show the significance of MM in any organization. Let's examine one by one. The most important happens to be the expenditure. This is something straight from a real situation, straight from Steel Authority. Deliberately, I have not shown the financial year. I have kept it 0000. And the rupees are in crores. Go to the bottom, see the final figure. This is 57,728 crores. In a particular financial year, the total expenditure of this company was 57,728 crores. Total expenditure on men, on material, on so many other things, even corporate social responsibility, so many other things. Now, out of these 57,728 crores, the expenditure on stores and spares, we saw the categories of item: raw material, spares, consumables. So they are, this is raw material, this is basically consumable and spares kind of thing. The total expenditure was 5.16% of the total, total expenditure. 5.6%, 1% was the total expenditure on stores and spares out of total expenditure of the company. So this was 2,977 crore, close to 3,000 crores. This was 5.16%. And see now raw material. The raw material expenditure was 32,000 crores. This was 55.94%. If you add this 55.94 and 5.16, it is about 61%. So as we saw here, that material cost constitutes nearly 40 to 60% of total production cost. This is justified over here. This is a live situation. This is a true data coming from my own company. 61% of the total expenditure of the company goes only for buying materials. What more do you need to understand the significance of materials management in an industry? If you control this cost, this expenditure, if you have reduced anything from this, you have saved a lot. That entire reduction goes straight to the profit of the company. Another graph, although it's not very important, I'm passing over it because this only shows the percentage of stores and spares versus raw materials. It is not much of significance. It is only a graph. Let's forget it. Let's come to MM as a profit center. First was, if you remember, cost and expenditure of MM vis-a-vis the total expenditure of a company. We just showed that. Now we have to see MM as a profit center. Till 20 years ago, MM was considered as a cost center. भाई यहाँ तो एक्सपेंडिचर होना है, यहाँ तो पैसे मेरे जाने हैं, यहाँ तो हम कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं. Although inventory management was there, so many things were there, but still we had a feeling कि भाई ये तो पैसे जाने हैं, control इसमें क्या करना है. But in the last 20 years, things have changed drastically, and now suddenly MM has become a profit center. So when it has become a profit center, let us examine also. So a very versatile formula, acceptable formula given by our finance colleagues is it is calculated through rate of return. Profit by capital employed multiplied by total receipt minus expenditure and multiplied by fixed assets plus current assets. These give you rate of return, or we also call this rate ROI, rate of investment, return on investment, sorry, return on investment. But anyway, rate of return is the same thing now. So profit by capital employed multiplied by this minus this and fixed asset plus current. Let's see everything we will examine here. Increase total receipt of reduce expenditure. If you have to increase your profit, then either you increase this total receipt or you decrease your total expenditure. Now, on what factors does receipt depend, or how receipt is calculated? The receipt is basically sales into price. How much you get depends upon your sales and the price. But tell me one thing, can you go on increasing your sales? Are you the only supplier in the market? Is your company the only company in the world which sells something? No, you are in competition. We are in competition. I am from Steel Authority of India Limited. I know how tough it is in India itself to sell steel, because we have got our competitors like Tata, like Jindal. Jindal is growing day by day. And then we have to compete in the international market. We have the Chinese material in India. The Chinese will dump their steel in India at very low cost, low price. Then the steel will come from Russia, will come from Ukraine, will come from Japan. So if you are going to compete with them, is it in your hand to increase the sales? And then you don't have even price in your hand to increase. You do increase the price depending upon the market situation, but there are instances when we have to decrease the price. So sale and price, these are not in your hands. These are in the hands of the competition. The more the competition, the less are the chances that you will have any liberty of increasing your sales or increasing your price. So in this formula, the total receipt depends on something which is not in your control. It is independent of your control. Now come to expenditure. Can you decrease the expenditure? What are the expenditure? The main expenditures are on men and material. Typically in an organization, manufacturing organization, the expenditure on men, the wages and salary and so many other things, range from 10 to 14%. Now, can you fire the people? Don't you have the law of the land? Can you just remove a man from the job at your free will? See, it is very difficult. Tight labor laws are there, strong unions are there. See, I have come from public sector undertaking. It's very difficult to get a job in public undertaking, but it's impossible to lose the job. It's the same. बहुत मुश्किल है पब्लिक सेक्टर में नौकरी पाना, बट असंभव है पब्लिक सेक्टर से निकाले जाना. वहाँ यूनियन बहुत स्ट्रांग होती है, चाहे वो लेबर यूनियन हो, चाहे वो ऑफिसर्स का एसोसिएशन हो. So you cannot reduce men at your free will. You cannot reduce their wages. Wages ऐसी चीज हैं जो बढ़ती चली जाती हैं. Every year you get increment. So 10 to 40% में जो men आते हैं उन पर जो एक्सपेंडिचर होता है, that expenditure is very difficult to reduce. Then comes material. As you have seen that 60% of the expenditure was only on material out of the total expenditure. So 40 to 60% of the expenditure is on materials. Yes, there is a scope for reducing the expenditure on materials. And there lies the importance of materials management also. So we go to next slide. You just see here, we have got fixed asset and current asset also. So you have already invested heavily in fixed asset. In a layman language, I will say that fixed assets are those assets which cannot be converted into liquidity easily or immediately. They take their time for conversion. At times, it is impossible too. So investment has already been made and very little scope of reduction is there. So can you reduce investment as a current asset? Current assets are those where the liquidity can be done within a financial year or soon. In a layman language, the current asset is working capital for us. Only the inventory has got 40% of your working capital blocked as raw material, work in process, and finished good inventory. So there is a huge scope over here to reduce the cost. Current asset can be reduced. proper inventory management may reduce production cost by 10 to 20%. So here it is that the role of in profitability is very much there, and it does it here. The role is accomplished many a time. Let's come to next slide. Another way of contributing to profitability by is we improve by managing materials cost efficiently. There are two types of cost. One is cost of material. Another is cost on material. Cost on material, cost of material. So cost of material is price, quantity, inventory levels, and some method like standardization of products. If you limit the number of products, then obviously you will buy less, provided those number of products suit your requirement in a variety of ways. So you have to reduce the variety of items, but you have to maintain the variety of use. Less number of items being used for more functions. We have got so many variety of this mobile phone, but nowadays you will find that the mobile chargers have got the same specification. If you have got a mobile phone from Nokia, or Nokia is now closed, if you got a mobile from some company X and another mobile from company Y, then most probably the charger can fit in both. So that is an example of variety reduction. But it's not necessarily for all the mobiles. They have different charges. And that is one way of earning money. Anyway, so cost of material is this, price and quantity. There is a relationship between price and quantity also. Usually we see when we increase the quantity, the price come down. Anyway, we have to go a little fast on this. You can understand it. There are certain costs of materials. It is not directly the cost of material, but if you are ordering the material, then you are incurring some ordering cost, purchase order cost. You have got building, you have got people, you pay them salary.
Sir, sorry for disturbance. Sir, right now we have another class. So thank you. You have given a lot of things. Okay. Just conclude within 1-2 minutes. Sir.
Okay. So the significance, I am trying to justify the significance of materials management in industry. I think the enough justification has already been done. So expenditure wise, you have seen, profitability wise, you have seen. Just see the headlines here. Lifeline of manufacturing system is Lifeline in the sense that one materials management comes into daily contact with so many other parties within the manufacturing unit. Operations, maintenance, finance, design engineering, material planning, suppliers, inspection, personnel, sales and marketing. Similarly, if you go to any partnership, it's not required. owns a robust system also. You might have heard of purchase procedures and systems of companies. Then we have to follow law of land. There are Incoterms, then public procurement policy for government and PSUs. You must have heard of Make in India. You must have heard of Atmanirbhar Bharat. What are these conveying? These are all conveying that materials management or purchasing activities are so vital. So that is another example of significance, another example of establishing significance. Then if the time is not permitting, then I'm not going to show you a typical procurement flow diagram. It will take some time, so let us leave it at that. If the time has ended here, then I must say thank you very much for your patience, and I wish have a nice day. Thank you. Or Dr. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We are consequential with your views and experience on marketing, business, skill, supply, and many more. This had made us acknowledgeable and worldwide. Now we are going to have a question and answer session. The student want to ask some questions. So can we start, sir?
Okay, please.
Yes. Sir, why the material management considered as a building block of any company?
See, you have gone through the presentation, all the slides. Any business concern operates for earning decent return on its investment, say profit. Now this ROI And return on investment depends on a number of factors, mostly being outside the control of the company, for example, sales and price. But what is in the control of the company is cost reduction or expenditure that is possible mostly through MM. Example is inventory control. Example is reduction in purchase price through bulk purchases or price negotiation. So building block means the very essence of profit depends upon certain things out of which materials management plays the most dominant role. And that is why it is called the building block of any company. A company is built not basically on two counts. First is how good is your material, how good is your finished product, will it compete in the market? And second, in order to make that finished product, how much you are investing, how much you are spending. If you are controlling this spending, then there are chances that even with a lower price in the market, you will be able to compete. That is why this is the building block. MM is considered as the building block of any company. And so many other things can be said about it, which we have already shown in the slide. That, for example, it has got a far wide reach within the plant itself. This system is such a robust system everywhere in the plant that it holds the company together. Even the top management is concerned mostly with the expenditure on materials management. It is discussed in the boards. So this is the importance, and that is why it is called as the building block of any company. Have I been able to satisfy you?
Yes, sir. I'm totally satisfied, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, next question is, what according to you are the most important steps in the procurement of life cycle?
See, I wanted to show you this. Are you seeing this? Procurement flow diagram?
No, sir.
Is it not there? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
This is a typical flow diagram of procurement. So if you want to know what are the most important steps in procurement cycle, then from my experience, I'm telling you, it's not a bookish knowledge. The most important step is deciding when to raise an indent. Indent means that particular purchase requisition. When to ask for a material and for what quantity. If these two things are very correctly decided, and these two things include demand forecasting, as soon as you decide when to raise indent and for what quantity, you have taken into account the forecasting also. So this is the most vital step, most important step to start with. Later on, as you go through this flow, you will find that very important role is played by purchase department in selecting the vendor. In selecting the vendor, we have shown you 5 R's, 5 rights: right quality, right source, right price, right time. So this is done by purchase department. So another important or vital step is to find a suitable vendor who can give you quality material at the right price at the right time. So these are some of the very important steps in the procurement cycle. And finally, of course, if the right quality material comes to you, then the chances are there that you'll have less and less of wastage. So that is another, this step ensures that the wastage is minimum and therefore loss is minimum. Therefore, this is a very vital step. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. So as we know, material management is interrelated process. So do you think this is also affect the top level management?
It is. Please repeat. It is top management. What did you say?
So do you think this is also affect the top level management?
Affecting top level management in what context? It is driven by the top management. See, for example, if I give you an example of my own company, Steel Authority, then Steel Authority is a board-driven company. There, we have got 5 integrated steel plants: Bhilai, Bokaro, Rourkela, Durgapur, and ISCO. all these 5 integrated steel plants have got their own material setup. All big materials management departments. Now, all these coordination is done by another department, which is at Delhi, our corporate level. It is called Centralized Materials Management Group. And this group reports to one of the board members, Director Technical. So board is very much affected, and board very much affects also the materials function in our company and in every company. See, a company which is spending nearly 60% of its resources or say money only on materials management, do you think that the board will not take note of this? So board is very much affected. Top level management is very much concerned with the materials management department or materials management function in entire sale. See, as an executive director materials management, I had to send a monthly report to director technical and chairman of the company. Rather, the letter used to go to the chairman with a copy to director technical every month of the progress report we made or what was the status during the last month. So the top level management is very much concerned and very much is affected. I'll give you one example. One example, if the time permits. In 2017, suddenly China decided to close some of its mines on account of environmental pollution. They just abruptly closed the mines. We used to get entire refractory items from that mines. That were huge mines. It was the only mines which supplies to the world, entire world. The government of China, they closed the mines. So what happens? We had given some order on that, and the order was not materializing. We used to buy refractories in entire steel authority worth around 1,000 crores annually. So our top management immediately sent 3 persons to China to request the governor of that province to kindly allow us to lift our material. And for that, even the Chinese embassy was involved. Oh, sorry, Indian embassy in China was involved. So how do we say that top management is not affected? It's very much affected, very, very much. It's a daily affair. The top management will hear about materials management. Are you?
Okay,
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, sir.
Thank you again,
Dr.
Dr.
More
No.
because of time. So that was indeed a very enriching and informative question and answer. Thank you, sir, for your clear and descriptive answer. So now I would like to invite Sandeep Kumar, sir, to convey his point.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir, for giving us some practical aspects of the industries which are related to the materials management. You have elaborated in a very details and discussed a lot of the what are the practicality in the industry. Basically, what is the function of the materials management and organization of materials management, significance of materials management. You have also justified with some case studies of sale regarding the rate of returns and all the financial aspects. So we all are aware about the materials are the one of the most important part for any organizations. Okay, for any production process. Without materials, production of goods and services is not possible. So it is a very important to plan material requirement so that it can be determined with the material are needed for the production process. Apart from material requirement planning, material management of material is very crucial. So improper management of materials basically will affect the whole production of or production process of the industries. So this efficient procurement and handling of materials is vital to the successful completion of the business operations. So materials management is concerned basically with the planning, procuring, storing and distributions of materials in an efficient manner. So you have truly said all the aspects that is related to the, it has an impact on all the business function, particularly finance, marketing and operations. Basically, finance department tried to keep the optimum level of inventory, that is the low, for saving capital. So marketing department also tries to maintain the high level of the inventories for ensuring the goods service to the customers. An operation department requires an adequate inventory level for efficient production and smooth employment levels. Sir, I also discussed about the basic, what are the objectives of the materials management. He has explained about the how materials management are getting the right quality, right quantity of material at the right time from the right sources to carry out the production process effectively. So that right now in today's current scenario, you can see the technology has become a part and parcel of our life. E-procurement, like that is the B2B and B2C sales, that is the purchase of supplies and goods service. E-procurement is also known as a supplier exchange these days. So various tools, applications are available for the pursuing for the same. That is the e-sourcing, e-auctioning, e-tendering, e-ordering, and e-informing. So supplies plays a very vital role in a e-business. So they are also responsible for supplying materials at the right time to deliver the product to the customer. So within the some specified time limits. So thank you, sir. So you have given the lot of good insight about the above state topics, and again we will invite you, sir, for giving some valuable input to our students. Whatever that is a practical application. Really, you have worked in the industry, so obviously you will give the some practical applications of this matrix management. And next time I will give you some more time to and that the we all are learner, so that we learn a lot of things from you, sir, and our students will be benefited from your knowledge and skills. So that next time I assure that we will call you for the supply chain management, and lot of you have expertise in that area. So you have accepted my request. So thanks you, sir. Okay. Over to
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep, and I'm always
Yes.
available to help your
Yes.
students. I
Yes.
love to talk to those young boys and girls who are the future of our society and the country.
So
Thank you very much.
in this time you have spent your time to make a PPT and all the things. You have spared your valuable time for giving lecture to our students. So okay, over to Sonal.
Thank you, sir. Valuable points of views. Now, the moment is here where I would like to conclude this lovely session. I would like to call up Smriti Kumari, BBA 4th SAM, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sonal. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Smriti Kumari from BBA 4th semester. It is an honor for me to have this opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this event. As we have reached towards the end of the session, I would like to express my gratitude. I would like to thank our Honorable Speaker, Mr. Vijay Kumar Mathur sir, for sharing his knowledge and idea. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining things in such a simple way and helping us to overcome all our queries. I'm pretty sure the precise understanding he gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future. It has been a tribute to host all the members and audience of the meeting. I would like to thank delegates from Sarla Birla University who graced this occasion with their presence. Honorable CEO Dr. Pradeep Verma sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Gopal Pathak sir, Honorable Registrar of University Professor Vijay Kumar Singh sir, respected Associated Dean of ID of Commerce, Management and Commerce Dr. Sanjeev Bajaj sir, Dean of Engineering Professor S.B. Dandin sir, Dr. Sandeep Kumar sir, Dr. Ashok Asthana sir, Coordinator Dr. Pooja Mishra ma'am, Program Coordinator Dr. Mridhani Jha sir. And thank you all the students present here for paying your attention and learning. I will end my speech here. Thank you.
Ashok Asthana sir.
Thank you to everybody.
अशोक अस्थाना सर है DSW. हेलो, अशोक अस्थाना सर है क्या?
No, sir, he is not present.
Okay.
Chalo, thank you very much. Best of luck to everybody.
Thank you,
Do
sir.
well in your life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you so
Shall I
much.
give? Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone.